even watch back, giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion, going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion, going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back, giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
all in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back, giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion, going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion, going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back, giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Mark
The sickest NHL podcast. Brought to you by TCS Customs and Logistics. Moving pieces, delivering peace of mind. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here on the Sick Podcast Network. I'm Jimmy Murphy. Here's my co-host Pierre and McGuire, and with us here at McLean's Public House, 1420 Peel Street in Montreal, is NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly. Bill, how are you?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
Good. And I have to imagine that you're very thrilled with the opening night of the Four Nations Face-Off.
Yeah, it couldn't have gone much better.
Yeah.
Exactly according to script.
I mean, in the beginning, it looked like, well, maybe what's going on here. But, I mean, Sweden did a great job of coming back there, and it made for a thrilling ending to the game. And I think everyone's talking about right now is Sidney Crosby and the performance he put on, especially after coming up injured.
Yeah, he's a special player for sure. He's been a special player for a long time. His game has never gone down.
Yep.
He always excels at everything he does. So he's a tremendous benefit to the National Hockey League for sure, and he's one of the greatest players ever.
One of the things that really stood out about last night's game, the overtime. Shootout's been a prominent part of NHL games. Have you guys thought about maybe extending overtime because of the fact that you see that last night and the drama was amazing?
So it was really good. I would say there's two major rule changes that we made as a group, us and the Players Association, for use in this tournament, really on an experimental basis. One was the 3-2-1-0 point system, which we're very happy with our point system. I have no intention of changing our point system. But in a tournament as short as this one, where you have four teams and they're only playing 7 games as in the aggregate, we wanted to make sure that we tried our best to avoid a tiebreaker situation for the final. So that 3-2-1-0 was a way to do that, and I think you saw it a little bit last night. Then, of course, we used the 10-minute 3-on-3 overtime before a shootout instead of the 5-minute. Obviously, we moved into that second 5-minute period. It was a fabulous overtime period. Having said that, I actually think what we have now currently is I think we're at a 74% conversion rate on overtimes. So I don't think this is a glaring problem that needs to be fixed. Having said that, it worked well last night.
It was really good last night.
It was amazing. It was amazing. The other thing that everyone's talking about today, and we were just talking about it before we came on the air, Bill, is the injury situation. Obviously, Shea Theodore now out of the tournament, and maybe after that as well. A lot of different reports this morning and this afternoon on what can be done to remedy that. Can the team bring a guy in? As of now, that's not a go, right?
That's correct. So we and the Players Association agreed on a 23-man roster, 20 skaters, 3 goaltenders, just like the NHL teams have. We obviously have an emergency conditions provision, which we'd never allow a club to go into a game without at least 6 healthy defensemen and 12 healthy forwards. Having said that, you're 1 defenseman down. They still have 6 healthy defensemen. What we've told Hockey Canada is they can identify that next player and maybe position him so he's ready to help. But no team he's not part of the team yet.
Okay.
Like if they have another player goes down, he can become part of the team. But before then, he's a player in waiting.
Okay, when you say part of the team, does that mean he can't even practice with them?
He can't practice.
Here?
I know how big a fan you are of great hockey, not just good hockey, great hockey. Olympics have been great. I've been with you at a lot of great Olympic games. We're going back to the Olympics in Cortina and Milan. Why was there such a big gap?
Well, wow, there are a lot of reasons behind that, right? And I can list them, but I mean, look, we had agreed to go to Beijing. We had another COVID situation right before Beijing where we had to cancel a whole bunch of games and reschedule them. It made Beijing impossible for us. 2018 was in it was a Olympics in South Korea. We were still at a point in our relationship with the Players Association where we didn't think participation in Olympics in South Korea was going to move the needle much for us. and we, moved on without going. I don't think. Well, at the end of the day, we know that our players love to play best on best international competition, including the Olympics, wherever they are. That was something we committed to them in 2020, and we've now announced a full schedule of events, including the World Cup and the reintroduction of the World Cup on a regular basis. Starting in 2028, during the same window, we'll have best on best competition. Move into the Olympics in 30, World Cup in 32. We're on a rotation.
100%. And I agree with that. I knew you were a big part of that. So I have to ask you, how much does that help you in collective bargaining with the Players Association?
You know what? It was a product of collective bargaining. Our commitment to international hockey was a product of collective bargaining, and really in COVID, the Players Association made it very clear this was the players' priority. It was one of their top priorities to get in collective bargaining, that we would commit to international hockey and they'd have an opportunity to play international best on best. And to the commissioner's credit in particular, he bought in right away. He said, you know what, there's risks to us. There are players who would get hurt. There's an interruption to our season. There's a disruption to kind of the normal rhythm. But if it's that important to our players, it's something we should do.
In terms of the relationship with the players now, I spoke to you earlier this season about what's going on with the PA and the NHL and Marty Walsh now, and Gary Bettman and you. You guys all, in my opinion, seem to be very much on the same page and having a very harmonious relationship right now.
Yeah, I think it's a really good relationship. I think we're candid with one another. I think we're reasonable with one another. I would say we were always reasonable, maybe not so much the Players Association, but it's been a really good relationship. Marty's a big fan of hockey. He's loved hockey. Grew up in Boston and loved hockey for a long time. He's still learning about the ins and outs of what we do every day, but he's been very, very constructive. And he surrounded himself with people who are practical and kind of want to move the sport forward. And you know what? In retrospect, and I probably knew this at the time, when we negotiated the cap system that we have, that's helped our sport grow tremendously. We were coming from a place where the players and the Players Association were considered adversaries, and they considered us adversaries, and they didn't want to do anything to help us grow the business. I think as we've evolved, now it's been 20 years, they're totally on board, knowing that the way they make themselves better is making us be better and helping us be better. And so I can't thank the players enough for their cooperative efforts in trying to move the sport forward.
I think it's been a fantastic NHL season to date. Is there something that impresses you the most about the way the season's gone so far?
No, I think it's I could pick out highlights in any year. Obviously, I think the world is watching Alex Ovechkin's chase for immortality. He's doing a tremendous job, unbelievable at his age. And that Washington Capitals team is pretty impressive, isn't it?
They're very impressive, Bill, and I know you're a big fan.
No, don't go there.
Heck of a coach too.
Heck of a coach.
Spencer Carberry should be a coach.
He's done an amazing job.
Recently we had the agreement now with the CHL and the NCAA. What role has the NHL started to, or have they yet to, and what role do you plan to get involved?
Great question. Look, it's a dynamic landscape, is what I'd say, and I think there's a lot of people who are afraid of the uncertain and don't know really how it all plays out in the end. And I think our role will be and should be to kind of steady those waters and try to make sure that there are no losses along the way. At the end of the day, from the NHL's perspective, look, there are several ways into the NHL. There are several pathways of development, and we're going to have good players regardless, right? Because they're all good pathways to development. Having said that, we kind of want to keep it smooth, and so we've tried to counsel to the best extent we can. We'll probably play that role for a while going forward.
What's the biggest thing that you think is going to be an impediment to the growth of hockey?
Well, at this point, I'm not sure I could identify one. We
What
obviously
about the cost of people playing?
So and that is an impediment. There's an obstacle there for sure. And I think we've done a lot over the last 10, 15 years with our industry growth fund to try to address that issue, both in NHL markets and non-NHL markets where we subsidize the cost of participation in hockey. Obviously, rink development is going to be critical and is already critical. USA Hockey has finally moved into a position where they have more registered hockey players than any country in the world, including Canada. Although it's a slight edge at this point in time.
The women have skewed that a bit, haven't they?
Women and adults, to tell you the truth. But it tells you the interest in hockey among adults, right? So yeah. So having said that, I think USA Hockey certainly is on upward growth platform. I think they'll continue to grow. We want them to continue to grow. We want Hockey Canada to continue to grow. So I think hockey's in a really good place right now. And, the awareness about health and safety, player health and safety, I think has helped the game as well. And certainly has alleviated a lot of the fears of parents of putting their kids in the game. So we're in a good place.
Back to the Four Nations. You guys chose Montreal and Boston, two great hockey markets. How great did it feel last night to be in that building with how electric it was, Mario, everything that went on? I mean, we all know this is a great hockey market, but how much did that remind you?
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic experience last night. You said it. It was electric in that building for 20 minutes before even the opening puck dropping ceremony. And then it continued throughout the night. So it was it's something that we haven't seen in a while, right? So and there's nothing better than the NHL's regular season, playoffs, and Stanley Cup final. This is a little bit of a different animal, and it's very exciting and very compelling, and our fans love it. So it was a special night last night. I think the rest of the tournament is going to be great too. I think that overall the hockey media has undervalued and underestimated how good this tournament is going to be.
I agree.
I think in a lot of respects, it is the most talented, the deepest international best-on-best tournament we've ever seen, ever in the world.
Yeah.
Like if you go back 9 years and you look at the Swedish team and you look at the U.S. team and you look at the Finnish team, they're not these teams. These teams are much better. And so it's going to make for a competitive tournament. We're excited about it.
That being said, you talked about Alexander Ovechkin before. The Russians aren't here. Will the Russians be at the Olympic Games?
So that's not our decision, for better or for worse. That'll be an IOC decision, as I understand it. The IIHF's already made their decision that for the 25-26 competitions, Russia will not be permitted to participate as a team. But the IOC decision with respect to the 26 Olympics is still an open question, which I think they address either late spring, summer, or early fall.
Well, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand how it
yeah,
works.
yeah.
We've been around a long time.
I know. I can't handicap that. Obviously we've asked people along the way, and different people have different opinions. I'm not sure who's best positioned to tell us what they're thinking.
Well, Bill, we know you're a busy man. Thank you for coming down here to McLean's Public Health. Appreciate it. We'll see you at the games.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys. Thanks
Bill
for having
Daly
me.
joined
Yeah.
us here on the eye
Yeah,
test
thank
on
you.
the Sick Podcast Network, live from McLean's Public House here, 1420 Peel Street in Montreal. Come on down if you're going to be heading to the game tonight. Obviously, be safe. Don't drive if you don't have to. And come on down. They've got great food here. And want to remind everybody, too, we've got a great special going on right now. Pull up the ad right now for my good friend Stu Ashton, the owner of the bar here. So if you go away right now, go to the Instagram accounts for Jägermeister Canada. It's at Jägermeister Canada. And also McLean's Public House. It's at McLean's Public House, all one word. You go there right now, you like the post, you follow both Instagram accounts, share in the comments section what you think the 56 on the back of the jersey means, and you will get that jersey if you win next Thursday, February 20th at 8 p.m. right before the championship game. So go there right now. Good luck to everybody for that. We want to thank Stu Ashton for having us here. It's been a great time. And of course, we are also going to be at West End Johnny's in Boston, 138 Portland Street in Boston, right down the street from the Garden. We will be there 6 to 7 p.m. on Monday and 6 to 7 p.m. on Thursday to tee up those Four Nations face-off games. So really looking forward to that. Bill, good luck to you. We'll see you down at the rink.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right. And
I'm jumping in.
yeah, Pierre's going to come in now. We're trying to let you off the hook. Thank you. And thanks to Jamie Horan, too, for coming along. We appreciate it.
Stick around.
Appreciate it.
Jamie, thank you. We'll see you.
Great
Stick
crew
around.
here. There's a lot of familiar faces. Before Bill arrived, and as we were getting ready for the podcast here, Pierre, you ran into some good familiar faces from down in the Boston neck of the
Yeah,
woods.
Mark Dennehy, the former coach of Merrimack College, was a great player at Boston College and works for the New Jersey Devils organization right now. Jimmy, a good friend of mine, and I actually tried to recruit him when I was a coach, and he said to me, "My mom kept your handwritten letters," and I
Wow.
wrote in cursive, and he says, "My mom still has your handwritten letters." So
That's
I thought that
amazing.
was pretty cool. Yeah,
That's
that was
great.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, and the crew he was with, and of course, as you said, he is with the Devils. He told me he's happy to be here with General Manager Tom Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
They've known each other forever. They go
Oh,
back
yeah.
to Boston hockey roots there.
Yeah.
So, Pierre, it's actually, I've seen quite a few people from the Boston area have come up for this. So it's great. Both cities are getting involved. See some fans here for Canada, Finland, Sweden, everybody. It's been a really thing. It's picking up. As we said yesterday, it was probably about 3 hours before game time when we start to really feel that buzz downtown. And I think now after that game last night, people are really into it here.
What's your takeaway from Bill Daly?
My takeaway is that he is happy with the way things are going right now with the NHL and NHLPA.
I
How
have
about you?
I have a takeaway on the Russian stuff
Okay.
because I'm a little. They're not here,
hmm
and I think they should be here.
I think we agree.
And Czechia is not here, and I think they should be here.
Mhm.
Slovakia is not here, and I think they should be here. Germany's not here, and I think they should be here. So they're going to have to figure this out because it's not his job to do the IOC's job.
Mhm.
The International Olympic Committee is really a tough nugget to do.
Yeah.
But I got the feeling that the NHL is in a position where they can't do anything.
So they've got their hands tied.
So they got their hands tied. The IOC is going to have to help them.
Okay. Well, from my understanding from talking to Bill previously before this tournament and to Marty Walsh is I don't know what's going to happen with the Olympics, but the plan for the World Cup the following year, or 2028 rather, is that they are going to expand the number of teams. And hopefully, I don't think nobody committed to Russia, but they are going to expand the teams because they have the final say.
Which they have to do,
Yeah.
but and not about the Russians. They just have to expand the teams. But I've been in a lot of big events with Bill
Yeah.
together,
Yep.
and I think he wants to see a true best. I'm not going to put words in his mouth.
No, that's the
I'm just
feeling
going to
I
say
got
what
too.
I think
Yep.
he wants
Yep.
is the best on best, and the Russians have to be included.
I know. And like he brought up Ovechkin. I mean, imagine if he was
Oh,
there
yeah.
right now. In the
I don't want to. I don't want
to.
to go down that road. He knows. He don't want to go down that. But I can just tell you, he loves the game.
Yep.
And what people don't know about Bill was a real good football player. He wasn't a little bit. He was a real good football player. He played at Dartmouth, one of the best Ivy League teams in football. He's from New Jersey. I know his body of work really well, and I'm just telling you, he wants to grow the game.
Good.
No, he's younger than me.
Okay. I was
And
wondering if you guys
my
played against
team would
each
have
other.
kicked this team's ass, and he knows
God
it
bless.
too. And he knows too.
All right, let's go back, rewind to last night before we talk a little bit about Finland USA tonight here at the Bell Center. Pierre, you and I were sitting here with our good friend Jason watching that game, and in the beginning we're just like, oh boy, this could get out of hand fast. Where did you feel that the comeback started for Sweden, where it turned the momentum a bit and got us to that overtime?
After the first intermission,
Mhm.
honestly, Jimmy,
Yeah.
they needed to get out of the dressing room after the first intermission. The theater was too big.
Mhm.
They were stalled coming out of the gate. Nylander takes a bad penalty in the first 30 seconds of the game. Can't do that.
Yeah.
Canada scores in a power play, a highlight reel goal, a legendary assist from Sidney Crosby. will be showed forever. It's iconic.
It's unreal.
It's the Bobby Orr moment flying through the air. So it's in Canada, and it's because it's Sid.
Yeah.
And it's Nathan.
Yeah.
So I think that the game changed in the intermission after the first period. I really do.
Yeah.
And I give the Swedes a lot of credit, their coaches a lot of credit, their leadership a lot of credit, and Philip Gustafsson made some saves that people forget.
Yes.
I'm really proud of Philip. You know, I have a really good
know
working
that.
relationship with him. So proud of Philip.
Yeah,
Really proud of
I've
him.
been with you on that. I was going to bring that up that, sometimes you're in a game like that and it's 3-0. Goalies will make saves that preserve the chance for them to come back in that game. And it gets forgotten, right? I mean, sometimes people don't realize how important that save was. And he had those little saves that, gave his team the chance to come back into that game. And I'm sure gave them momentum and gave them confidence that they could do it.
No question.
Yeah.
I think Philip was a big part of it. The other thing, too, is, and this is not everybody knows, Team Sweden's defense is really
Oh,
good.
my gosh.
Like, they're probably, in terms of overall depth, they're probably the best defense here.
Yes.
That's not a knock on USA or
No.
Canada.
That's
It's
just facts.
It's a fact.
Yep.
Like, if Rasmus Anderson is playing in a third pairing defense, like, come on.
Yeah. It's
Let's get
That's
serious.
key.
So there's a lot of good stuff. I give that. This is something I've known about Sweden and Finland for a long time because you know how much time I've spent in
Yes.
both countries. They've never been perceived properly by the international hockey community. They're very tough people.
Oh, yeah.
They're very committed to hockey. They're really proud of the product that they've grown over time. And it's starting to be found out now.
Yep.
But for a long time, it was never admired enough. It was never admired
Well,
enough.
I'll tell our listeners too to definitely check out tomorrow. We recorded our on-campus Friday today with former NHLer and head coach of Rivers School in
Freddie
Massachusetts,
Meyer.
Freddie Meyer.
Yeah.
And as you pointed out in that interview, he finished his career in Modo. You've seen those games over there. I mean, just give our listeners and viewers a little insight just to the passion and the excitement for the game there and what it's like in one of those rinks.
If you go to a game in Modo, which is in Ordskolvik, which is up north, or you go to a game in Gothenburg and you watch Frölunda play, or you go to a game just outside of Frölunda in Färjestad, or you go to a game in Sweden at Djurgården, or you go to a game in Leksand. This is unbelievable. I brought my wife is not a hockey fan.
Yeah.
She watches because her kid plays, and I work in the game.
Exactly.
I brought her a game in Djurgården 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Against Färjestad, I think. No, it was actually against Gothenburg. And she said to me at the end, she goes, "This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I wish every game in the NHL was like this."
Right.
And it wasn't so much about the game. It was about the ambiance, the fans, how passionate they were, the way they participated in the game.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate. I've been there so much, and I have so much respect for their people, but I love how their fans carry themselves.
And I know they're arch rivals, so don't get mad at us Swedish fans, but Finland, I take it, is the same way too with that passion.
Well, I think I'm more bullish on the Finns only because I had a chance to coach there. I did not go.
Uh-huh.
There was a guy named Scotty Bowman that called me up and said, "You get your butt back here." He didn't say it that nicely, but yeah. So I'm a big fan of their country. I'm a big fan of their people. Their hockey's amazing. It's different.
Yep.
Finns are more physical than Swedes. They are. Swedes, they're more tactical. They're more tactical.
I was just
They're
going to say
more
it's
tactical.
more like puck intelligence.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
thinking
they're
when
more
you were saying that.
tactical.
Yeah.
But there's something when you go to a game in Turku. There's something when you go to a game in Helsinki at IFK or back in the day, Jokerit. There's something when you go to a game up north in Jyväskylä. There's something. I'll never forget. Like, I watched Patrick Elias play in a tournament game in Finland when he was a kid, like 16 or 17, in Jyväskylä, Finland. And I was with the great Larry Plow. And I was working for one team and Larry was working for another. And we were both watching Patrick Elias and we're like, darn it, this kid's really good. And had nothing, he wasn't a Finn, he's a Czech.
Yeah.
But we're watching him in Jyväskylä, which is in Finland, in the lake country in Finland. We're going, oh my God, who's going to draft this guy? And New Jersey drafted him. The rest is history.
Exactly.
Patrick is such a good player.
That's awesome.
But I have so many good memories about both countries. I just love it.
So, switching over to the other side of that game last night, then we'll move ahead to tonight. Quickly, though, on the goaltending, I see some people in our chat room. I've seen a lot on social media. People saying they got to switch the goalie. Bennington
Who does?
Canada.
Oh no, they can't. No, they're
Yeah.
not switching.
So I'm with you, and as you pointed out in that episode that people can see tomorrow in our On Campus Friday, we were talking about the game last night. Yeah, maybe there was 1 or 2 goals he'd like that.
Well, two were no good.
Yeah, but he battles.
But
Dude, that's the best
he's
thing about
got
him.
like this Eddie Belfort thing to him, Jimmy.
Oh,
He's a
what
mean
great
son of a
analogy.
gun. Like he's got an Eddie Belfort thing to
Yeah.
him. That makes a difference.
Yep.
And the players know that. They know, okay, I can maybe make a mistake here, but I know that guy's going to be a nasty piece of business and he's going to stop the puck. It allows your team to play freer. It does. Now, do I think he's as good as Eddie Belfort? No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Has he won a Stanley Cup like Eddie? Yes, he has.
But yeah, he's such a battler, and as you always reference, if he doesn't do what he did in that first period, like you said last night at Game 7, 2019 against the Bruins,
They get crushed. They don't just lose. They get
humiliated.
crushed.
Yeah, that was the difference in that game.
Yeah.
I remembered I was at that game, and I remember too, Pierre, how his performance in that first period stole the life out of the building. Remember how quiet it was after that? Game 7.
There was all the saves. You're spot on, Jimmy. You couldn't be more right. And then the other thing, Marchand let Pietrangelo go in the neutral zone.
When he went for the change earlier.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was the end of the first period. And that was a big moment in that
Yeah,
game.
for
Huge
sure.
moment.
Speaking of Marchand, nice goal last night.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I love the reaction, too, from the fans in Montreal because they're not doing that when he plays for Boston. I know that.
All right, let's look ahead right now. USA-Finland tonight, Pierre. This is a game. Finland's so banged up, right? But yet, as you said, they're a tough team. They play physical. I think this is going to be, the more I've thought about it today, I think this is going to be more of a game than people think. I really do. I think USA will win, but I think it's going to be more of a closer game than some are expecting.
The most important thing for both teams,
Mhm.
you got to find a way to get a point out of this.
Mhm.
You can't go 0 for the night.
Yes, correct.
I'm telling you.
Yep.
You go 0 for the night, whether you're the Americans or the Finns, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And I think the other question mark, Pierre, and look, he's having an amazing year, and he's definitely in my consideration for the Hart Trophy, definitely for the Vezina. Connor Hellebuck has had some problems in clutch situations, namely the Stanley Cup playoffs.
We've talked about this for a long
have.
time. You and I
Yep.
have. We have.
I mean, I think back to that first round series.
I'm not trying to be mean either, because I have a lot of respect for
Oh,
the
yeah.
kid.
I want him to.
But
seize
I
this
think
moment.
everybody, I
Yeah.
think hockey people do.
Yeah.
But
This could be
until
his defining
until
moment.
he does,
Mhm.
got to prove it.
Yep. And I like how this sets up because obviously Winnipeg, best team in hockey right now. They're going to the playoffs. They're
Don't tell Bill Daly that. Those Washington Capitals are pretty good. Hey, Billy.
What I want to say though, Pierre, about that is this is kind of a good opportunity for him to maybe get that past out of his head. If he can come here and shine in this tournament, it's such a good confidence builder, I would imagine, for going into the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Really that.
I love what you said and how you presented it. This matters for a lot of players, not just him, but for him in particular.
Mhm.
This is a big moment for him.
Yep.
I'm looking at a player like Brock Faber. Think about what it does for him to be here and what that means. Matt Boldy, Brock Faber, Minnesota,
Yep.
going back in that dressing room. You got street cred. You got swagger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And just to be
Man,
able to
yeah.
watch how these guys, legends of the game, perform and how they prepare.
I can just tell you, I
That
watch
stuff
this. It matters a lot.
Yeah.
And people say at home, nah, come on, you guys are. No, we're not overrating it.
No.
I seen it firsthand with some of our young guys when I was in Pittsburgh
Yep.
coaching.
Well, remember, you're always bringing up what Trottier did.
Yeah,
for that.
Brian was huge. Joey Mullen huge.
Yep.
Larry Murphy huge. Ron Francis huge.
Yeah.
They make a difference. Those guys make a
It
difference.
really does.
They
All
make
right,
a
we want to remind everybody we are live at McLean's Public House, 1420 Peel Street in downtown Montreal. Not the old McLean's. We've had a couple people go there by mistake. They're here now, though. We're glad they made it in this snowstorm, as you can see behind us. Well, the snow's tapered off a bit, but we got walloped. There's a lot of snow.
There's
The
a lot
wind's
of
picking
wind.
up.
There's a
The
lot of
wind's
wind.
picking up here, and we're expecting some more snow on Sunday. So everybody stay safe out there. But come on down to McLean's Public House, 1420 Peel Street. Again, want to thank Jägermeister. Thanks Stu, the owner here. And also remind everybody, we will also be back at West End Johnny's, same time, 6 to 7 p.m., Monday and Thursday. And now let's tell you about our sponsors, TCS Customs and Logistics. You can go there right now, as we always tell you. We'll pull that up right now. I don't know if they found it there, but TCS Customs and Logistics, we're proud to have them on board. There they go. Unlock the full potential of your shipping operation with TCS Customs and Logistics from around the corner to around the world. Flatbeds to air freight, customs clearance to drawback consulting. TCS is a one-stop shop for all things transport, moving pieces and delivering a peace of mind. For no obligation customs or free quote, contact sickpodcast at shiptcs.com. Again, that is sickpodcast at shiptcs.com. And of course, our other sponsor, Betway, where you can go right now and bet on the Four Nations face-off, specifically that game tonight. And I'll give you my pick in a bit, but I want to remind you right now, you can go over there, bet the beauties with Betway, and join the action. And you can get rewarded, even if you lose, $200 credit with a new membership. That is their offer. It's still going on right now. So scan that QR code right in front of you, or go to the website, into the details section, and create a new account. The offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. It is not available in Ontario. Remember, you must be 18 plus and always bet responsibly. All right, let's do a sick pick of the night, and we'll get to our Q&A.
It's time for Sick Picks. Brought to you by Betway.
All right, Pierre, last I checked, USA was a pretty heavy favorite, minus 170. You get them on the puck line at plus 185. But as I said, I'm sensing a tight game. Might be like last night. So I know it's tempting to go with that plus money on the puck line.
Enjoy your night.
Bet it,
Very
go
nice
do some
seeing you,
props
sir.
and
Nice
get
meeting you.
Nice to meet you guys.
You. Take
See you
care.
around.
Thank you so much.
Some
Thank
folks
you.
from Toronto that came in here for the Four Nations face-off. Really cool people. And he saw, before I'll go to my pick in a second, Pierre, he's saying, do you think I'm ever going to see the Leafs win a cup?
Yes.
Here in hockey? And I said, you know what? You should talk to my co-host, Pierre McGuire, because he's heavy on him. He thinks this could be the year. So good luck to them. But yeah, go with the money line tonight at minus 170. Take USA for the win there. Let's go to the Q&A. All right. The point system 3-2-1-0, the Four Nations standing. Understand it's a short tournament. How about applying this to regular season?
No chance.
No, and Bill touched on
You
this.
do that in the NHL, you're doomed because half the teams will be out by January the 15th. No way. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
That's why Bill said what he said.
Yep.
He's spot on.
Yep.
No way. No way.
But I did like how much he liked the 10-minute bonus.
Well, I think they're starting to think about that.
I think they're thinking about it. All right, next question. Ron LaRoque, who should get Hockey Canada job to turn that around?
I'm not saying anything.
Can I say?
Yeah.
That's my
What is that?
my answer. I went like this.
Oh.
But I hope that doesn't embarrass
No.
you.
No, thank you.
Respect.
Thank you.
All right, next
Thank
question. Mike Gaudette, did anyone see the play Crosby did for the overtime goal? It's not the assist. It's he went back over the blue line and then jumped over the boards. So there was no offside. Captain Canada, oh yeah.
Mike, we saw
Nice
it.
catch, Mike. That
Good
was
job
amazing.
by you, Mike.
Yep.
Really good. 3 assists in the game. Player of the game. 38 years of age and still bringing the heat every night. I hope people will start to say that maybe this bald analyst 20 years ago maybe got it right.
Yeah, you did.
I got a lot of crap for a long time from a lot of people. He's the best player over the last 25 years in the league.
It's really true. I mean, I've been covering the game for almost his whole career, and I would definitely say he's the best player I've covered as a journalist, and top 3 I've seen as a fan, easily. So I put him right in that category right now. And to think what he, like I said to Bill, we don't know what his injury is, but we were watching. You saw sometimes, or maybe he looked to be suffering a bit. The fact that he's still able to do that just shows you the grit that this guy has and the heart.
He's another level of competing. He's another level of pride. He's another level of caring about his teammates.
And the game.
He's a gentleman. He's a true gentleman, and he's ferocious.
Yeah.
That's a great combination. Yeah. Be a gentleman and be ferocious.
He's everything this game could ask for when they.
I think he's spectacular. I mean, you know a guy when he's 14 years old and you see him when he's 38, you might know him a little bit. You might.
All right, next question. Ron LaRoque, would you consider starting Monty on Saturday? I mean,
no.
You're out alone with Monty and that will get Canada over the hump. Plus, Monty knows
Saturday
night games.
No.
All right, Ron.
No and no and no.
I agree with Pierre just because, as we just said, we both told you about the battle in Jordan Bennington and the way he was able to get through that, blowing that lead. You got to reward him for that. If he comes out and he lays a stinker on Saturday, then sure, switch over. But for right now, I'd stay with that goal. Right.
You can't mess around, man. You didn't get 3 points the other night.
Exactly.
You got 2.
Disturb the vibe.
You can't do that.
All right, next question. FFF. Did you guys notice that McKinnon and McDavid didn't play well together?
I don't know. I mean,
FFF, you have great questions, and I respect your hockey opinions. I didn't really notice that. I don't know. It just
I watched it pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they were on the ice together, honestly.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, everybody's going to nitpick. You're allowed to have your opinion. I respect it. I just love the fact that McKinnon, Crosby, and Stone, they got points. They were good. That was the line that I watched. That's the line that I watched.
All right, next question. We got any more? Yep. FFF again. When does Sako Corville make an appearance tonight? Or will he, I guess?
I don't know if he will. His son's playing in Turku. I think. I know Saku's living over there. I don't know if he might be here. I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
But
well, you never know.
You never know. You never know.
Night, so.
Well, Timu was here.
Oh, gosh.
Jimmy, you're not old enough to know, but I can tell you, like watching Timu when he was Timu Solani was special.
Did you see him when he was a teenager?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
He was. Hey, I tried to draw up game plans to shut him down. He was really good.
Is that,
man.
in your opinion, Pierre? And you can say I'm nuts if I say that, but is that one of the best rookie seasons you've ever seen?
Well, he and McGillney were both amazing. I mean, Timu was one of the, and I know I shared this with you.
Yep.
I will never forget the 07 Stanley Cup and winning in Anaheim versus Ottawa and interviewing Timu and knowing what Timu had gone through to get to that point. And the stuff, some of it I can share, some I will never share. And just doing that interview with him and to see the emotion on a man, like he's larger than life in Finland. Yeah. Whatever you think, Michael Jordan's huge in USA. Mm-hmm. Teemu Solani's like that in Finland, man. He's like big time. And I know it's a different size population. I'll never forget that interview as long as I live. And every time we see each other, usually at the Hall of Fame, it's pretty emotional.
You have that bond.
Yeah, it's pretty emotional. I just think so highly of him.
Remember,
I
don't know if it was last year or the year before, the NHL came out with those commercials to promote the Stanley Cup final. And they were, a lot of them were you doing the interviews after people won. Yeah. And the guys getting emotional. That's what my favorite clip.
The Timu one is. Wow. My wife was watching that. I think at that time we were in Montreal still as a family. And she says, "Were you crying?" It's like, yeah. Yeah, I was.
I've never asked you off here and on here.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
How hard is that as the interviewer to contain your emotions? Because you're there, you're feeling the vibe on the ice, what these guys are going through. You've been in it yourself. You've been in the trenches yourself. What's it like just trying to stay focused on that interview?
The Solani one was hard. Mm-hmm. I won't even pretend.
Yeah.
I know I definitely cried.
Yeah.
I don't think but I definitely cried. It's hard.
I know.
Especially, I'll never forget talking to Ovechkin after the Cup in 18. Mm-hmm. That was hard.
Yeah.
Because you know what Ovechkin been through to get to where he got. There's certain ones. Brett Hedican was one in 06, I remember. Mm-hmm. That was a cool one. Because I'd watched Brett when he was a kid in high school in Minnesota, playing college, and then he's at the top of the mountain.
I don't know how you didn't get emotional with the Recce one.
The Recce one was cool because it was the end.
You guys had
we had
that dinner the night before.
The night before
right?
was that's one I think Mark and I should write a book about. The night before, it was good. That was fun. That was really fun.
And he knew.
He did.
Right?
He called.
He knew they were going to do it.
There were two guys that called their shots before Game 7s. Well, Bowman's was a Game 6.
Okay.
Actually, it was a Game 5. Bowman called it. He took me to the Grosse Pointe Yacht Club. Just he and I in a private room for almost 3 hours. It was pretty amazing.
That was the second cup or the first?
That was the O2 Cup, his last one. Yeah. So that was the third one in Detroit. That was amazing.
Okay.
That was one that I can never talk about.
Yeah.
Just to say where we were and what we talked about, but I'll never say what we talked about. Yeah, and then exactly. Yeah. Jimmy. And then the Recce one at the Pan Pacific Hotel in 11. That's one I think Mark remembers it a lot. I remember it a lot. And that was a private moment between two guys who've been through a lot.
Yep. So you could see the bond when you had that interview. All right, next question. What do we got? Ethan Russell. Pierre, do you think Werenski will be most talked about? He's really underrated.
So first of all, who said that?
Ethan Russell.
Ethan, I completely agree with you. We've talked about him on the eye test, Jimmy and I, a lot for the last year and a half. I do think Zach's going to have a big tournament. And, we talked to Mark yesterday, Recce, or 2 days ago, I think.
2 days ago, yeah.
2 days ago with Mark. And Mark
got to coach
talked,
him.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Mark coached him in Columbus. So I think so too. Mark thinks so. You think so. I do think so, Ethan. Yeah.
One thing I really found interesting about that was Rex talking about how hard he is on himself and how much he wanted to help Columbus get back on track. And you've seen that. And it obviously means a lot to him because, look, I mean, truth be told, when people think hockey, they don't think Columbus. But I know, we've been there professionally and seen the environment. They do have a great fan base. They are passionate. But you can see how much pride he takes in playing for that team.
Yeah, and it's amazing because he's a Michigan guy playing in Ohio State.
That's right.
Kind of a weirdo deal. The one thing I'd say, Columbus, great ownership. I think very appropriate general manager right now in Donnie Waddell. I think coaches that are doing really good jobs there, not just Dean Evison, his whole staff.
Yep.
And the building's outstanding.
Oh, I love it.
The building, and that's a really good building.
Yep.
I like going there.
Except if you're the opposing goalie and you let in.
Yeah, then the cannon keeps going off. You don't like the cannon.
All right, next question. Enter tap. Which players do you believe had the most to gain or lose from this tournament individually? Great question. We've been talking about that, how that can carry over.
I think Connor Hellebuck's got a lot to gain, but a lot to lose.
Yep.
A lot to lose, a lot to gain. UC Saros.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really good one.
UC
We're gonna see him
Saros.
tonight.
Going to see him tonight. Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel.
Yeah, for sure. This is really, if I'm not mistaken, professionally, this is his first stat.
Yeah.
International
What
play.
about Austin?
And Austin Matthews, too. And
Well, here's one more. Don't get mad at me if you're in Edmonton, but I would just say this very comfortably. Like Connor McDavid hasn't won anything in the NHL.
Yep.
He hasn't.
No, he hasn't. He came close last year, but he still didn't win.
Close doesn't count.
Yep.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. That's it. That's all.
That's a good point. All right, next question. All right, Gabriel Lamb, what's up?
Love it
Gabe?
when Gabriel sends
Yeah,
us
he's
notes.
good. And I love his Johnny Gaudreau emblem there.
Yeah.
Why is McGuire not in the Hall of Fame?
Good question. I can't answer that. I'm on the committee.
Right.
That's all I'll say.
And
But
I
it's a
don't know.
very fair question.
Yep, I agree with the question, but I don't have an answer for that either. All right, next question. Randy Workman, what is the most emotional you've ever seen a coach?
Jacques Demers and Herb Brooks wanting to fight each other. Yeah, Detroit versus Minnesota North Stars. Jacques was holding his glasses over the side. It was
Wow.
That's probably on YouTube.
Yep.
That was a pretty good one. Robbie Fatorik throwing a bench on the ice was a good one.
I miss Robert.
Probably the bald guy in Hartford and Saskatoon when he almost killed an official in the hallway. What an idiot I was. I got in trouble for that.
That wasn't the game when your mom.
No, that was
heard
in
you using
Montreal.
some
That-
bad words.
yeah, no, that was. Your mother should be ashamed of you. You're my mom. No, I got a little. I think everybody that when you coach for a living, everybody can lose it a little.
Yeah, John Tortorella in Vancouver.
Yeah, Torts can do like the one. I can just tell you one incident that I was involved in. It was in Saskatoon. We were playing Winnipeg. The late Nick Magoo is the official.
Mm-hmm.
He lived on the same street as one of my players, Mark Jansen's, growing up. They clearly had a problem, but Mark and Mick's brother were best friends. So it's kind of a weirdo deal. And Mick called a bad penalty, and I got really mad at him. And we had a big lead. We ended up losing the game because of that penalty. It was a major penalty. Well, I walked in the hallway in this old building in Saskatoon, but it's a nice building.
Yep.
Oh, I got in trouble. So Mick and I, because of that, ended up having to talk a lot.
Uh-huh.
It was the best thing.
So did you form a relationship?
We
off
did.
it?
We formed a
That's great.
relationship, and he ended up being a supervisor in the league, and I was working on
Yeah.
TV, and we would fly a lot in the same planes. Now Mick's passed away, but we had a really good,
That's
bunch
great.
of really
That's
good
great.
talks. And I learned that I was wrong, and I think he learned he was wrong, and we had to find a way to both be right.
That's great.
It was good. It was really good.
It's interesting that the couple that was from Toronto that said bye to us earlier. When I was talking to them, you were over talking to Denny and his friends. They said, do you find because they knew I was a reporter, they said, do you find that the refs are some of the nicest and most intelligent people?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, and people don't realize it because they're cheering for their team and they're always taking it. You got to have thick skin to be a ref. Oh my God. But they said, yeah, it's like they had some beers with some refs, and they said it's amazing to see things from their perspective and it really made me appreciate the job they do.
One of the coolest things that I had in my career was hanging out with the officials in Edmonton for 2.5 months in the bubble. We all worked out together. Because nobody was allowed in. It was just us. We worked out together. We spoke together. We ate together. We had drinks after games together. We didn't talk about hockey. We talked about families. We talked about experiences. And there were so many guys that I was like, I thought I knew you, but now I really know you.
Yeah.
And they're like, thought you were a dork. Now I know you're not. You know what I mean? Like, it was really good. It was good. It was really good.
It's good stuff. All right, next question. And this is the final one. Postnet on 1:30. Who stands out for the USA Finland tonight? I'm going to go with Hellebuck.
I had to go Austin Matthews.
You're going Austin Matthews. All right. I think Hellebuck comes out and has a great game. And you know what? Because of that, I'm going to give you one more little pick there. Take the under tonight. I know it's tempting the over with all the spill on the ice, but I like the under in this game. All right, Pierre, what a show today.
Wow, Bill was great. Bill was great.
That was great. Him and Jamie Horan showed up, and there's some other fellows from the NHL here right now.
Yeah.
Great time, and Denny and his crew are here.
How about the size of the crowd again?
It's
There's
unreal.
a snowstorm here.
It's a snowstorm. It's great, and they actually were saying here that Bill went to the other McLeans by mistake, and he said it's starting to fill up there too. He's
Good.
And that must feel great for them to see the buzz and the fans coming out and getting ready, even in the middle of this blizzard. So thank you to Bill.
So I'm going to talk. I'm going to Boston tomorrow.
Yes.
I'll be watching a lot of college hockey this week. I'll be working with you Saturday.
Yep.
You'll be here remotely.
Yep.
I'll be
right
remote.
there in my screen.
And then I talked to our good friend Johnny Caron today at West End Johnny's. So I'm going to probably see him on the weekend, but you'll be there Monday.
Yes, I'll be there Monday. It will be in between games. Remember, for fans that are going to be in Boston, West End Johnny's will be opening earlier because there is a 1 o'clock game as well. And then the 8 o'clock game will be on 6 to 7 p.m. that night and 6 to 7 p.m. championship night here. So really looking forward to seeing Johnny again. I want to thank Stu Ashley
Stu,
and the staff
awesome.
Here. It's been so great. As you know, here the staff has
Everybody,
a
the
spot in my
staff.
heart.
Me too. Like,
so great to
awesome.
live here.
How about how great they were to us last
Oh
night?
my gosh, unreal. And I know, you may be a fan of Guinness here, and you like to rate your Guinness. What do you think of the pine here?
It's good.
And it's on par.
Okay, I'm not going to be mean. It's very good, but it's not like the Harry Lemon in Dublin.
Yeah, it is.
Or the Harp.
Unfortunately, because of my condition with celiac, I was unable to taste Guinness in Ireland. But I haven't met one person who has one over there who says it's just something different.
Oh, there is for sure.
And
I can't wait to go back.
And how about when you're telling the boys here, you're going to have Mr. Fitzpatrick?
We talked about you today, Robert Fitzpatrick,
watching,
the owner of the
you're on our
Belfast
mind.
Giants, and
Yep.
we were thinking of you, and all the there are a few Irish lads in here. They're all thinking of you, Robert. They can't wait to meet you.
We were pumping up the Harp as well and the Harry Lemon. So if you guys are listening or watching over there, we miss you. We look forward to seeing you again next year. All right. Well, thanks to our staff up at the Sick Podcast studio. Pierre, thank you. It's a
Great job,
show. Really
Jimmy. Great
enjoyed it.
job. Really
He's Pierre
good.
McGuire. I'm Jimmy Murphy. We'll be back here at McLean. Well, I will in McLean's Public House on Saturday, 6 to 7 p.m. But before that, check out On Campus Friday tomorrow with Freddie Meyer, Pierre, and myself. Until then, have a great night and enjoy the hockey.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.